Hello, good morning. I hope you're all well and that you've had a good week. I've had a brilliant week. Linda and her sister Joyce are down for 2 weeks and it's been so nice spending time with them. We've talked endlessly and we've worked on 3 jigsaws, a 2,000 piece and 2 1,000 pieces. I think if you're a needle worker, you're naturally drawn to puzzles and sort of putting things together. It's been great fun watching these jigsaws grow. I've done a lot of research this week, a lot of writing, and I've spent a lot of time on artwork for some forthcoming booklets. We've got so many exciting samplers to release in the year ahead. Okay, so on Thursday, Sue from Minnie McBean's released these beautiful little zipper pulls for sale in her Etsy store, Minnie McBean's. Now, Sue gifted me this one just before we left for the Great British Sampler Weekend Comes to America at Hobby House Needleworks. It's intended as a zipper pull charm for your needle case or a project bag or a pouch, but I use mine to dress the inside of my needlework case. These are available now for order, and you can have your name put on them. So whether you're king or queen of the needle, these are now available to you. Sue originally did these as table gifts for her table at the event, but so many people spotted them and asked her about them. She's now made these available. Absolutely adorable, and you can never have too much bling. You really can't, and this bling is very tasteful in the tips of the crown. This week on Monday, this book came, and oh my God, what a wonderful, wonderful treasure trove of information on samplers. It's Choice and Precious Work, Treasures from the Schoolroom, and it covers the period 1650 to 1770, which is a very, very interesting period in needlework. It's published by Whitney Antiques and written by Rebecca Scott and Isabel Rosner. And there's also a very, very interesting section in the book by Katie Strachan. I haven't read the whole book. This is a substantial book. It's 250 plus pages, and the information in this book, it's so precious. It really is. And the photography is amazing. It's of the highest quality, and it gives us a wonderful opportunity to study the needlework within the book. Rebecca Scott has the most amazing knowledge when it comes to textile history, and she is sharing that knowledge with us in this book. It's a must for anybody who has an interest in needlework. Books of this type don't get published every day. There's a lot of work that's gone into putting this book together, and the exhibition at Whitney Antiques that the book is based on. There's a lot more in this book than in the exhibition. These type of books often only have one print run. They never get reprinted, and now is the time to add this book to your library. When these books are out of print, they tend to go for hundreds, if not thousands of pounds. So this is a definite recommendation to anybody who has an interest in needlework. I bought 2 copies. There's one in my study and one by the side of my bed. And every night this week, I've enjoyed dipping into this book. And I like to sort of read a section, think about what I've read, and then go back and reread it. So it's going to take me a little time to get through the book, but every word in this book is valuable knowledge, and I want to absorb it and consider it properly. what else has happened this week? Well, I've got to mention Polly Gay. Thank you to everybody who's purchased the chart for Polly. I've just been blown away by the interest in this sampler, and it's just been amazing to see people ordering the PDF and immediately start stitching the sampler. It's available as a booklet or a PDF. Now, a few people have commented that this is a very Christmassy sampler because of its colours, and yes, it is. It will make a lovely stitch on the lead up to Christmas. And Christmas is about family and home. And this one has the sentiment, sweet home. So thank you to everybody who has ordered Polly and who are diving straight in and stitching her. I love seeing samplers that we've reproduced featuring on social media. I'll never get over the thrill of seeing our work being stitched and enjoyed. It's all about enjoyment. Needlework should never be a chore. It should always be a pleasure and a place for us to escape to from real world. The real world can be a frightening place sometimes. There's so much going on in the world that worries me. Oh no, I'm going to show you some linen. I brought this linen back with me from Hobby House, and it's the 3 new colours from Cedar River. Now, this is only a section of my piece because this has already been put to good use with a model. So this is all Cedar River and it's 46 count. This one's called Pyrite, P-Y-R-I-T-E. It's a beautiful colour, and the moment I saw this colour, I thought this is an absolute perfect choice for Bristol samplers. This is such a good match to a Bristol sampler. So this is one, if you intend to stitch a Bristol, certainly consider this as your fabric for the project. Really beautiful. The other piece, which again has been cut in half because it's gone straight away for a project, is Scrimshaw, and this is again a 46 count piece. Beautiful colour, really lovely. And the sun is coming out as I'm talking about this linen. And then we have Salt Ash, and Salt Ash is a colour that Cedar River dyed for us for a specific project, and the sampler that we're actually stitching on this fabric is very, very special. It's earmarked for 2026 as a special release. There's some clues there, and it's beautiful, and this linen is the perfect match to this very, very special sampler we have in production. And Salt Ash is actually a place in Cornwall. There we go. So those are 3 new colours from Cedar River. I met Jodie at the Great British Sample Weekend Comes to America, and she is as delightful as I knew she was going to be from the correspondence we've had in the past. Okay, so I've got 2 samplers here to show you. The first one I've had for a little while now, and I must get this underway. It was stitched by Emma Gill, and to me this sampler is very, very precious, even though it's a simple primer. Can you see what makes this sampler special? It was stitched by Emma Till when she was aged just 4 years old in 1879. 4 years old. How many 4-year-olds today would be able to stitch a sampler? Oh, we've got some people outside the window and Bertie is on guard. Anyway, there's Emma. I found out a lot about Emma, so there is a really nice backstory with this sampler. It'll go very nicely with Rosa Sugar, who's also very, very young when she stitched her sampler. This sampler has come, it was stitched by Jane Blackhouse when she was aged 12 in 1824. The sampler is 200 years old, and those colours are so good for a 200-year-old sampler. The verse is lovely on this sampler. Wisdom, the greatest blessing from above, sent to mankind by God in his great love, directs the youth to knowledge, then to peace, so leads to solid joys that never cease. I love that. There were lots of things that drew me to this sampler, the colours, the verse, but also these two figures here in their patchwork outfits. I thought that was adorable. This sampler has a range of stitches. You have eyelet stitches, and you in this band you have these lovely diamonds worked in many colours and in rice stitch. I love working rice stitch. We have a bullion knot for the door handle, and for those people who attended the Great British Sampler Weekend Comes to America, you know how to work those now. I loved the border, and I love the fact that the strawberries were this beautiful pink, gorgeous colours in this sampler. And again, I must knuckle down and work on that. The trouble with antique samplers, you plan to work on them, then you see something else and you get distracted. It's a bit like when we buy charts that we're going to stitch and then something else comes along. Do you know, if I never buy another sampler, I will never be able to find time to stitch or to reproduce all I have. I'm just so addicted to antique samplers, and it's the stories that these samplers tell. They unlock so much to female history, and that is a subject that absolutely fascinates me. Okay, it's another short video. I really ought to get stitching so I can show you more each week. I am sorry. The week ahead, Bertie has a little operation scheduled for Wednesday, and he's having a general anaesthetic. We lost a boxer, Poppy, as a result of a general anaesthetic. So on Wednesday, say a little prayer for Bertie. The operation itself is straightforward. It's the anaesthetic that always worries me so much. I almost forgot I had something which I feel is very important to talk about, so I'm inserting this before the end of the video. On Tuesday, I posted on social media about a sampler that had come up for sale on the auction sites. Now, the auctioneers are a very reputable firm of auctioneers, and this is the sampler. Now, many of you will recognise this sampler. It's one of Moira Blackburn's. Many of us would have stitched this sampler and have it on our sampler walls. When I saw this sampler, I wrote to the auctioneers to advise them that this was a modern day reproduction, and I know that other people did as well. And because they are a reputable firm of auctioneers, as soon as it was brought to their attention, they changed the description to reflect that it wasn't stitched in 1819. It was a modern day sampler. Even if I didn't recognise that design, there were two major clues in this sampler. One, that when you looked at the close-up photographs of the sampler, you could see that it had been stitched on Ada. Ada is a 20th century invention. It was not around in the 1800s for needleworkers. And the other giveaway was the colour purple. A sampler that had been worked in the early 1800s with a purple thread, that thread would not still be purple today. Purple was a very unstable colour that bleached out very, very quickly. It was only with the invention of chemical dyes that purple became a stable colour. So that would be from the latter quarter of the 1800s that chemical purple was invented. Now, why I want to talk about this is to highlight the importance of putting your name, or at least the date that your sampler was stitched, visibly on the sampler. And unless we do this, we are creating problems for the future. Now, we know that Moira was very active designing samplers in 1880s, 1980, 1990, maybe up to 2000 or thereabouts. Yet this sampler, that linen, looks so aged. It's very, very easy for people to be deceived. So please put the year at least that you stitched a reproduction sampler, and visibly on that sampler. Okay, this really is the end of the Flosstube. So until next week, stay well, stay safe. Bye-bye.